Hey there, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory once again, and this is part two to my reaction to Sahbisun's Low Self-Esteem, where I disagreed with her. The last video was where I agreed with her. Where I disagreed with her was she kind of just went, "Men get self-esteem," and she doesn't say how to supposedly obtain self-esteem. One, two, where I would also disagree with her is I really don't think a lady has the right to tell a man to be a real man. Now, I mean, not in the sense that a lady or a woman doesn't have the right to speak, but in the sense of it doesn't sound right coming out of your mouth. It's like you're not in a position to make that call, or you don't have the right judgment to make that call. I think manhood can only be bestowed by other men. No one ever says to a woman, be a real woman. Nobody's ever said that. However, manhood can be bestowed and then taken away. It's the strangest concept of manhood. A man isn't just a man. He has to prove himself into manhood. There is no proving into no woman has to prove herself into womanhood. But a man has to prove himself into manhood, which I find interesting. So I don't think that she really is qualified simply because she is of the other gender. I don't think she really is qualified to make that kind of statement. No disrespect to the sister. I think she's made good points, but here again, I also don't think that a woman can raise a boy to be a man. The best she can do is raise him and love him and care for him, but she can't raise him to be a man. Um, and which I think it is a shame that too many fathers are leaving their sons to be raised by mothers. In fact, Fight Club even covered this. We are a nation of men raised by women, which is interesting. We're a nation of men raised by women. So, and that's really the truth about the matter. And we don't have our examples around us. So I don't think a woman can provide that real example. Now, I also I also want to say that she talked about women having degrees and getting their own money and all of this, and they don't depend on men anymore. Well, here's where I would disagree with you. Independence is a total fallacy, number one. There is no such thing as a truly independent person. The only independent person is God, or independent being is God Almighty. No man or woman is truly independent because what if the economy tanks? Well, there goes your independence right there. What if you get paralyzed? Well, there goes your independence. What if, you lose let's say you catch a stroke or you go into a coma? There goes your independence. What about when you get old? And then, of course, what if you have a business and no one buys your products? Well, you're out of business. Or what if you have a job and they lay you off? There goes your independence. So independence is a total fallacy where someone is dependent on something or someone. So true independence is a lie. So anyone who tells you they're independent, they're full of it. I mean, let's keep it real. What else? She talked about the thug dude. Well, I like the thugs because they confident. They don't care about rules. Well, going back to the whole nation of men being raised by women, what happens socially is these women go, son, don't be like this, don't be like that, don't do this, don't do that. But then that same woman will turn around and mess with a dude who's a dog. In fact, I went to a spoken word poetry thing, and a young man, he calls himself Real Talk. That's his poet name. The Real Talk was just talking about how, in the poem, he was talking about how his mother was saying, don't be a dog, don't be this. But then she saw how the dog was getting rewarded. This guy would cheat on her, beat her, treat her bad, and she'd reward this behavior. So he was told, hey, there's a conflicting message. And in some of my videos, I talked about how women do send conflicting messages. That is a reality. Not the men who say they're starved, I think that's just wow. Don't ever be starved for anybody's attention because you are going to be set up for failure. But the thug is supposedly dominant in all of this. However, we also live in a culture where we have women saying, "Don't tell me Don't tell me what to do. I'm a grown woman. I'm, again, independent, and I'm a strong black woman, or I'm a strong woman, or I am woman, hear me roar, and all of this, all of this. So I really, your logic sort of falls through with the thug man. Sounds like, it sounds to me like there's a rewarding of criminals, or maybe criminals give off the aura of confidence because maybe they have no regard for laws and all of this. I would also disagree with you that guys with degrees are boring. I found many college educated brothers who were very, very good people. They were very good heart and soul brothers, and we could hang and we could roll with each other, and we had good times, you know. So I will never, ever, ever, ever say that a woman, or excuse me, that a person that has a degree is necessarily boring. And I wouldn't necessarily say a thug is exciting. It depends on what excites you and what you want to be done. And again, I also think so. That's where I disagree with Miss Sahbisun. I mean, she's a good. She was on point with a lot of things, but I only took issue with the fact that, oh, he's a thug, so he's been through life a little bit. Well, who says the college educated person hasn't been through life a little bit? Yes, it's the rags to riches story. Yes, it's the climb from the primordial muck into the sun and all of that goodness. But does everyone have to come from a hard life to be interesting people? No, that falls flat right there. Can he handle himself? I think, given in any situation, the human capacity, the survival instinct that the Creator's put in us, will give us the gumption to do things when push comes to shove, I believe. That's going to kick in automatically no matter who you are. I really just, and this is not really a reaction to her video, but I do find that I think those gentlemen complained because I do find that men are dumped on. Men are, well, let me put it out there for real. Men are shitted on a lot by American women in general. Just in America, it does seem that way. Because of our misdeeds, we're just being completely defecated on, and women are just going, there are no good men. And on the flip side, and I'll concede to this, men are saying there are no good women. So there's got to be a happy medium somewhere. However, yeah, like I said, those were my problems with the vid, is this whole let's praise the thug. And again, I don't judge anybody with a criminal record because I believe all of us have had a past of some sort. And if you believe in a particular religion, you're guilty of something in that religion anyway. And but I don't think that in order for one to obtain iron will and iron character that they got to be a criminal to do it. And that's just how I see it. Now he may radiate a certain strength and character, strength and sensuality from being the so-called warrior archetype, because that seems to be the only warrior left. But every dude from the streets ain't necessarily real, and every real brother ain't necessarily been a street brother. So you got to look at it from that angle as well. So that's really just my 2 cents. Again, part 2 on the low self-esteem. Oh, another thing, I just thought I'd throw this out here. I talked about the social game. I talked about how our social culture tends to encourage self-esteem. Our institutions of learning, school do it. Our peer groups do it. I think our parents inadvertently do it. And now, this is not to attack parents, but sometimes our parents create that. And then we have our own personal inner critic, which really messes with us. The existentialist Jean-Paul Sartre once said, hell is other people. And he had a whole play about 3 people locked in a room, and that was hell because they all had to deal with each other. And hell is other people. So to a certain degree, I can agree with that. Again, leave comments or concerns or hatred or love or disapproval or whatever. But take care. Have a good day. Peace.